Hi guys, it's Minnie Small or Semi-Skimmed Min, covering some beginner's info, tips and techniques for starting out with gouache. In this video, we'll be looking at the tools and techniques that'll help you get started. To begin with your gouache painting, all you'll need is a sheet of paper. I'm using Strathmore's 500 series watercolour paper, a selection of paintbrushes, and water to clean your brushes. You might also want a separate cup for the water that you'll be adding to dilute the paint to keep your colours clean. You'll need somewhere to mix your colours, and of course you'll need paint. Here I'm using Royal Talens gouache, and I talked about the specific qualities and benefits of this paint, plus how I chose the right paper and brushes to suit my needs in the previous video. You'll want to add a little bit of water to your paint at a time, experimenting with different ratios of water to paint to see what works best. You're looking for a creamy consistency that flows easily on the paper without leaving streaks, and you'll generally be able to feel and see when the paint consistency isn't quite right. Gouache blends evenly together on the palette, with mixed colours often ending up even more vivid than those straight out of the tube. It can be tempting to keep adding water as you add colour, but remember to only add a little at a time. You might also want to bear in mind that colours dry to a slightly different shade to when they're wet, so usually with lights drying darker and darks drying lighter. There are plenty of ways to blend colours together, but my favourite way to approach it is to get the two colours that I want to mix together and mix up one or two shades in between, lay those colours down in stripes in a gradient from one to the next, and blend the gaps in between. Now it depends on what sort of look you're going for, but for me it's really best to be blending paint in paint rather than in water. When applied carefully, it's possible to layer different colours on top of each other without disturbing and mixing with the one below. This is great with the paint in its opaque state, as you can cover mistakes or add entirely new elements to your painting. It can also be effective with washes to add different tonal values or change the mood of your painting completely. Just remember to make sure that the layer of paint that you're painting on is completely dry before you go on top of it. Because gouache is so versatile, there are many different ways to use it depending on your style. Experiment with how you mix, blend and layer the paints to find a finish that suits you. Next I'll be going over all the info we've covered so far while I show you how I use gouache for a typical painting. Thanks for watching!